They ask you what you want to pay per month. You answer 400. That answer just cost you $5,000 and 3 weeks of your life. You think you told them your budget. You didn't. You told them your ceiling, and they're going to make you hit your head on it. The question sounds helpful. Where would you like to keep your monthly payment? They smile when they ask it. They lean in. They act like they're on your side. They're not. This is the first move in a game you don't know you're playing. And the moment you answer, you've already lost. The profiler sitting across from you has been trained to ask this question, not because they care about your budget, because they want to know your maximum tolerance for pain. You say 400 a month. They hear 400 is the most you'll lose without walking away. You say 600. They hear 600 is the ceiling and we're going to make you touch it. You're thinking about the car. They're thinking about the loan. They're thinking about how to stretch that payment across 84 months instead of 60. Listen closely. The payment question is a trap because it shifts your focus away from the only number that actually matters: price. Total price, out the door price. But the profiler doesn't want you thinking about that. They want you thinking about monthly chunks. Because monthly chunks can be stretched. Monthly chunks can hide thousands of dollars. You find a car with a sticker price of $35,000. You're thinking maybe you can negotiate it down to $32,000. Then they ask the question, what do you want your payment to be? You say $500 to $600 a month sounds reasonable. Boom, you just told them 600, not 5, 6. The profiler doesn't hear a range, they hear a target. Now the magic starts. They stop talking about price, they start talking about payment, they pull up a screen, they furrow their brow like they're working hard for you. They're not. Stretch the loan from 60 months to 72, drop the payment, stretch it again to 84 months, payment drops more. You're not watching the interest rate, you're watching the payment number. 4.9% interest becomes 6.9. You don't notice. They add a warranty, $20 a month. Gap insurance, $15. Protection plan, $25. Tire coverage, $12. Every add-on is small. Every add-on pushes you closer to 600. And when they land at 595, you feel like you won. But here's the reality. You just paid $37,000 for a $35,000 car. You're locked into an 84-month loan. That's 7 years. You were thinking 5. The add-ons total $3,500, and the dealership just made an extra $5,000 in profit. Let me translate that into time, because money isn't money. Money is your life. If you make $40 an hour, $5,000 is 125 hours of work. That's 3 weeks. 3 weeks you just handed it to them because you answered one question. But here's the catch. You still think you negotiated well. 595 is below 600. You feel smart, you got played. The profiler knew your ceiling from the moment you said it. This is why the payment question is the most dangerous question they ask. Once you're anchored to a payment, you stop thinking about total cost. You stop thinking about interest. You stop thinking about loan terms. But you're thinking, won't they just refuse to negotiate if I don't give them a number? Here's what you say. When they ask what you want your monthly payment to be, you say this: I don't want to talk about payment. I want the out-the-door price, the total price of the car, sales tax, fees, everything. In writing, once we agree on that number, then we can talk about financing. Maybe this flips the script. Now you control the negotiation. Price is the only number you can't change later. You can refinance. You can put more money down, but you can't go back in time and renegotiate the price. So lock it first. Lock it in writing. The profiler hates this because now they can't stretch the loan without you noticing. They can't bury fees in the payment. Everything is visible, and visibility destroys profit. Remember this: payment is a distraction, price is the weapon. You just learned how they anchor you to a ceiling, but profiling is just the setup. Here's how they decide how high that ceiling should be. They ask what you do for work. You think they're making small talk. They're not. They're deciding how much to charge you. Doctors pay $2,000 more than teachers for the same car. What do you do for a living? Sounds innocent. It's not. It's profiling. The classifier has been trained to listen very carefully because your answer tells them how much money they can extract. You say doctor. They hear high income. They hear this person can afford sticker price, maybe more. You say lawyer. Same calculation. Software developer. Same thing. A high income profession equals higher price tolerance. They're going to start high and hold firm. High-income professionals pay $1,200 to $2,000 more for the exact same vehicle. You walked in wearing a tie and mentioned you work in tech. That just cost you $1,500. Wait, it gets worse. You say retail worker, teacher, service industry. The classifier hears the payment buyer. They hear we need to stretch the loan to make the payment fit. Different strategy. Same goal. Maximum extraction. They won't hold you to a sticker. They'll negotiate, make you feel like you're winning. But watch what happens next. They'll stretch your loan to 84 months, 96 months. You think you got a deal because the monthly number looks good. You just signed up for 8 years of payments instead of 5. But it gets worse. They ask another question, what brings you in today? This one measures desperation. You say, my car just got totaled. They hear I need a car right now. You say, my lease ends next week. They hear I'm on a deadline. You say, I need something by Monday. They hear I have no leverage. Desperate buyers always pay more, always. Once they see desperation signals, the entire approach changes. They're not going to give you their best price. They're going to wait. They're going to let time pressure do the work. Desperation costs you $1,500 on average. If you make $40 an hour, that's 37 hours of work. A week of your life gone because you answered a question honestly. This isn't personal. It's a system. Every dealer runs the same playbook because the training is standardized. The questions are scripted. The tactics are tested across millions of transactions. You can't change that. But you can refuse to participate, so what do? You stay vague. They ask what you do for work. You say, I work in business. That's it, no details. They ask, what brings you in? You say, I'm exploring my options. I've got a car I like, but I'm thinking about upgrading eventually. No urgency, no desperation. This neutralizes the profiling. Now the classifier can't categorize you, and if they don't know, they can't run the formula. But listen closely. If you are actually desperate, you need to hide it. Borrow a car. Rent a car. Take the bus. Do not walk into a dealership and tell them you need a car immediately. The less they know, the less they can use against you. Your job is to give them nothing. Stay vague, stay calm, stay in control. You just learned how they profile you. Now here's where they hide the money. They ask if you're trading in a car. You say yes. You just gave them permission to bury $3,000 where you'll never find it. The trade-in isn't a transaction. It's a magic trick. The trade-in question sounds reasonable. If you're trading a car, they need to know right, wrong. They want to know. Because the moment you say yes, they can bundle your trade-in and the new car into one big confusing mess. And once it's bundled, you can't track where your money goes. This is the shell game. 3 cups, 1 ball. You're watching the cups move. And while you're watching, the ball disappears. Now let's say your trade-in is actually worth $8,000. You bring it in, they appraise it, they say, we'll give you $6,000, you push back. They say, okay, $7,500. You feel like you won because while they were raising your trade-in value by $1,500, they were also raising the price of the new car by $1,500. The bundler doesn't just move money between the trade-in and the new car. They move it everywhere. You object to a $1,200 dock fee. They say, okay, we'll reduce it to $600. You feel heard. They just absorbed the $600 reduction into the new car price. The dock fee looks smaller, but you're still paying it. This is why bundling is so dangerous. Every negotiation point becomes meaningless. You negotiate the new car price down, they lower your trade-in value. You negotiate your trade-in value up, they raise the price of the new car. You can't win because you can't see the whole board. So what do? You separate everything. The new car price, the trade-in, the financing, the add-ons. Every piece is a separate transaction. When they ask if you have a trade-in, you say this, I want to focus on getting the best out-the-door price on the new car first. Let's get that number locked in writing, then we can talk about whether I'm trading my car in. Maybe. This forces them to show you the new car price without smoke. No trade-in value to mix it with, just the price. Clean, visible, and once it's locked in writing, they can't change it. And here's the truth. You probably shouldn't trade it in at all. Sell it yourself. Go to one of those third-party buyers. You'll get $500 to $1,500 more. But what about the sales tax credit? Do the math. If selling your car nets you $1,500 more, but the tax credit only saves you $400, you're still ahead by $1,100. Remember this, the trade-in is not part of buying a new car. It's a separate transaction they're trying to glue together for their benefit. Unglue it, separate it, because the moment things get bundled, your money gets buried. You just learned how they hide your money. Now I'll show you how to stop them. You walk into the showroom, you already lost. The terrain is theirs. The script is theirs. Your only weapon is distance. The dealership is designed to extract commitment. The chairs, the lighting, the music, all of it is engineered to keep you there. Because the longer you sit, the more invested you become. You sit down at their desk, you just surrendered the high ground. Now they control the pace. And every minute you stay, you lose leverage. The closer will take your keys. They need to appraise your trade-in, they say. Now you can't leave, so you sit and you wait. And while you're waiting, you're getting emotionally attached to the car. They come back with numbers. The numbers are high. You object. They say, let me talk to my manager. They leave. You wait. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You're getting frustrated. You're getting tired. That's exactly what they want, because tired buyers make bad decisions. Listen closely. This is why you never negotiate at the dealership, because the dealership is their territory, their rules, their timeline. Here's the exact playbook. Negotiate from your couch, from your kitchen table, anywhere you control the environment. Get out the door prices in writing from multiple dealers. Make them compete. This flips the power dynamic. Now you're not sitting in their chair, you're comparing options. You're staying rational. You're staying in control. Email 5 dealers right now. Tell them exactly what you want. Make, model, trim, color. Ask for the out-the-door price, not the payment, the out-the-door price. Everything included. In writing, compare them. Take the lowest one and send it to the others. See if they'll beat it. Keep going until nobody will go lower. Now you've got the best price. And you never left your house. But you still need to be willing to walk away. If the deal isn't right when you show up, you need to walk, because the closer will still try. They'll still add fees. Let me tell you what happened the last time I bought a car. I negotiated everything by email, got the price locked in writing, showed up to sign papers. The finance manager tried to add a $1,200 fee that wasn't in the email. I said no, he said it's required. I stood up, I walked out. By the time I got to my car, he was running after me. Suddenly, he found a way to remove the fee. $1,200 saved because I was willing to walk. That's 30 hours of work, 3 days of your life. The walk away is your nuclear option. It makes them panic because they've invested time in you too. So they'll find discounts, they'll find flexibility, but only if you're actually willing to leave. Most people aren't. Most people sit there and take it. They've already decided they're buying today. That's why the walk away works, because it's rare. But timing matters too. Shop at the end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year, last day, when it's raining, when they're desperate to hit quotas. Because dealerships have volume bonuses. And if they're one car short on the last day of the month, they'll lose thousands to make that deal happen. I've seen dealers sell cars at a loss just to hit quota, real loss, because the volume bonus is worth more than the profit on one car. Your job is to be that last car. Be there on the 31st. Be there when it's pouring rain. Be there when they're sweating the numbers. That's when desperation shifts from your side to theirs. Remember this, the environment is controlled. Distance is power. Walking away is leverage. Timing is an opportunity. Every question they ask has one purpose: extract information, maximize profit. You think you're having a conversation? You're not. You're being processed. 3 questions. That's all it takes. How much to charge you? How desperate you are? How to hide the money? Question 1. What do you want your monthly payment to be? You think they're helping you budget? They're not. They're finding your ceiling. And once they know your ceiling, they're going to make you hit it. They'll stretch your loan. They'll raise your interest rate. They'll add products. All of it hidden inside that monthly number. Question 2. What do you do for work? What brings you in today? You think it's small talk? It's not. It's profiling. They're categorizing you. High income, low income, desperate, casual. Every category has a playbook. Every playbook has a price. Doctors pay more than teachers for the same car. Question 3. Are you trading in a car? You think they need to know? They don't. They want to bundle. They want to mix your trade-in with the new car price so you can't see where the money goes. Either way, you lose, because bundle deals are opaque deals. These 3 questions are not random. They're the core of the sales training system. Every salesperson learns them. Every finance manager uses them because they work. They work on 95% of buyers. But you're not in that 95% anymore. So here's your defense. When they ask about monthly payment, redirect to the out-the-door price. When they ask about your job or your urgency, stay vague. When they ask about a trade-in, separate the transactions. Keep everything visible. Keep everything in writing. Those 3 questions cost the average buyer $5,000. Payment question, $2,000 in extended interest and add-ons. Profiling question, $1,500 in elevated pricing or stretched terms. Trade-in question, $1,500 in buried value. $5,000 total, that's 125 hours at $40 an hour, 3 full work weeks, 15 days of your life traded for being polite, days you can never buy back. Next time you walk into a dealership, you'll hear those questions differently. The payment question, the profiling question, the trade-in question, and when you hear them, you'll know exactly what they're really asking. You'll redirect, you'll stay vague, you'll separate the deals, and when they realize you can't be processed, everything changes. Because they can only take what you give them, and you're not giving them anything. Before you go car shopping, do 2 things. 1, send this to someone who's about to buy a car before they sit down, before they answer those 3 questions. You can save them 3 weeks of their life. 2, drop a comment and tell me which question you've answered before. The payment question, the profiling question, the trade-in question. Let's see how many of us got processed without knowing it. And if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe. Because the next video is about what happens after you sign, and it's worse than this.